Welcome to Earth 2, where superheroes exist and comic book talk is the norm. I'm your host, Moe Crosby. Vito's in here to do this with me today. Because I'm doing a review of Superman Reborn storyline, which started off with Peter Tomasi's Superman Comics number 18 and goes into Action Comics written by Dan Jurgens.
Welcome to the planet.
Superman number 18 and 19 and Action 975 and 976. This storyline, Superman Reborn, is one that I really have enjoyed. It's one that I love. It's one that I hold. At this point, I'm really enjoying Superman, and what they decided to do with this crossover event was just awesome. It was amazing, and I talked to Vito and I was like, "Yo, Vito, you gotta let me review this for our viewers." All right. So the story technically begins Rebirth number 1, where Mr. Oz tells Superman, who is here now, he's like, look, you and your family aren't what you guys think you are. Even the fallen Superman isn't what he thinks he is, or he thought he was. And Superman, again, there are two Superman in existence between 52 and Rebirth, or there's been two Superman. This new Superman is the post-crisis Superman, or the happier Superman, the Superman everybody loves, not necessarily the new 52 Superman because he's dead. The new Superman brushes it off. Superman set up his life form, moves him into Kansas, and he's living on a farm with his family, just minding his business. And so fast forward to Superman number 18, where this whole story begins. It's Lois and Clark's wedding anniversary, and John is there, Krypto is there, they're all having fun and exchanging gifts. Lewis is like, I told you not to get me anything. Clark is like, what? You knew I was going to get you stuff. And, they're happy. You're being a family. And there's a knock on the door. John goes to get the door, and he sees a shadowy figure who kind of looks like his dad, and is like, I don't know you, but why do you look like my dad? He's having a conversation with the man. The man's like, I know you, John. I'm happy, I'm happy to finally see you. Krypto is barking in the background because dogs tend to sense when something is awry, when something is wrong. He hands John, Clark hands John a gift, and he's like, go, give this to your parents, whatever, give this to Lois. And so he goes, he takes it to Lois, he gives it to her, and they open it. They open the gift, and it's an album, and they're looking through the photo album, and it's like, whoa, like, this is technically our lives, but this never really happened to us. This must have happened to, Superman who we're replacing. And as soon as they start looking through it, mystical stuff starts happening. Pictures in the house start to disappear. The house itself starts to disappear. John himself disappears upstairs. He disappears and reappears upstairs. Superman finds him, rescues him, takes him out the house. But as soon as he opens his arms, John vanishes. The story is really strong to me because it involves like the whole family, like the super family as a unit, and not just Lois and Clark, or just Clark being Superman by himself. Jump into Action Comics number 975. We have now Lois and Clark have flown over to Metropolis and trying to find out from Clark why he's doing what he's doing. They're talking, and he goes, and then Clark starts to say some things to Superman, because we tend to see who is who. He's like, what do you mean? We were friends. We used to play around together. We used to joke around together. We used to do things together, and then you left me. And Superman being confused as just like, yo, where's my son? He's confused at the whole fact that Clark is saying to him all these things, and he's like, I don't know you. And now Superman is like, you know what? Like, just tell me where John is. And as soon as he says that, things start to change around in the house. We get to be introduced to the main villain of the story. So, for all of you who thought the main villain was going to be Superman Prime, I like to call him Prime because he is the Superman in this universe, being replaced right now. For all of you who, like, that whole twist where I even got, yo, this is crazy. Like, this tripped me out because I thought the villain of the story was going to be Superman Prime. We were going to get two Superman going at it with each other, but we got a different villain. And so, we get the new villain of the show, the show. I'm sorry. We get the guy who's running the show, and he works his magic on Lois, and she starts to forget things. Like Superman is like, okay, we got to go find our son, and she's like, our son. He picks her up, flies around the house, and goes somewhere and is like, okay, yo, I'm ready to play a game. What do you need me to do? Because I need to get my son, I need to get my wife back, I need to get my life back, I need to get my whole family back. And fast forward, we're now back in Superman number 19. Peter Tomasi picks up the story again, and it's like, yo, this is amazing. Like the transition from action to Superman to Action Comics back to Superman was really amazing to me, and it's something that I really enjoyed. They go play the game that has been set by the big bad. Lois is really forgetting everything, and Superman is trying his best to get his family back, to hold everything together as Superman, as the post-crisis Superman would, and things are just not working out for him because the way the game is, the way the game or the way the big bad has set up the game is, you're going to lose. The house always wins. And so this is happening, and he's trying to get things together. He's trying to get his family together, and then he starts to forget. Now John is back in the story, and John is like, okay, where am I? Who am I with? I need help. I need to get back to my mom. I need to get back to my dad. Who's going to help me? And we get two different entities, one representing the mom, one representing the dad. And the two of them, and John starts a conversation with them like, you gotta help me find my parents. I'm lost. I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. Superman is in the background still trying to get to John, yelling, hey John, I'm on my way, I'm coming. John hears him, and John starts to yell out to reach out to his dad. And when he gets to the top of a tower, so the game is like, you have to get to the top of the tower, and once you get to the top of the tower, I'll give you your son. When he gets to the top of the tower, the games master, the big bad, the games master says, look, you're not, whatever is happening, I think you're forgetting, so you're not about to get your son regardless. John somehow connects because John is the emotional base of Superman. He's also the emotional base of the Super Son. So his emotions well up, and I am your son, I am John, and I'm here. And that ends Superman number 19. Now we're back in Action 976, and now it's the finale. One book I told you guys to pick up a week ago, and now we get the actual end of it. What we've been expecting. John is trying to connect now with his parents because, again, both of them have now started to forget. John goes, hey, I'm your son. Lois is like, I don't know you. Superman, we need to help him. Superman is now talking to the big bad like, yo, okay, we played your game, let us go, so we can help the kid. And the two entities are still there. Again, one representing Superman, one representing Lois. And John is just like, please don't forget me. You can't forget me. And John now begs the entities to help, remind Superman and Lois who they are and who he is. And so the whole family can come back together. The big bad at the end of this now says, look, I'm not interested in playing this game anymore. I'm done. I'm gone. Peace. And he starts to roll out. Upon rolling out, one thing I will note about this issue is we get to see the Superman we got introduced to in 52. So he's back for like a split second because Superman has now been transformed into him, and because he's forgetting who he is. So this is the Superman of the universe. Again, the big bad has bigger motives for what he's doing. He hates the fact that no matter what has happened in any Earth or in any incarnation of the story, Lois and Clark are always together. And he wanted to be the one to separate them because he wanted to get his Superman back. Kind of funny way of going about it, if you ask me, but that's what he does. And everyone is back, and at the end of it, he now says to and you catch a shot of Mr. Oz. So I am super excited to see how this goes into Superman number 20, or how this continues, because now we've come to the end of it. Again, this has been a really good issue, really strong story, strong family issue. We get to see Superman be Superman Prime again for one time. I think this is where, the whole reborn thing happens, and we get to see that. So now what they're doing is, they don't want us to forget that Superman happened from 52. So now they've combined Superman from 52 and Super Dad, as everyone on the internet calls him, together to make a very fresh Superman. So this is going to be a fresh take on Superman moving forward, and I'm excited to see that. Again, I really love this issue. It's 4 books strong. I really suggest that you guys go pick it up. I've tried my best not to spoil it because I think the when you guys go read it, the whole, like, the story coming up and the anticipation of who the big bad is and what he does, and then the twist all comes together really perfectly. Like, Dan Jurgens and Peter Tomasi coming together to write, you know, a story, a Superman story, I think was one of the best things that happened to the DC or the Rebirth line. And I really think this is the strongest book out of the Rebirth line, Superman Reborn, the story. So I suggest for all of you to go pick it up and look into it. That has been my review of Superman Reborn. Guys, down in the comments, tell me what you think. Tell me if this was something you liked and this was something you wanted to read. If it's something you're going to read, let me know if I spoiled it for you. I hope I really didn't. I also think that, again, I'm suggesting that it's something you want to pick up. For Earth 2, you can find us at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Earth number 2, Comicast. Moe Crosby, no Vito D, but he will be back next week. Peace.